I don't get to shill these, but only my friends who know what time and what day that it airs do they show up. I could actually shill this way ahead of time if I always knew what you were going to name it.
Well, if we talked about it, we're live now, but if we talked about it beforehand, like next week we'll just call it 3B.
Okay.
But then the link doesn't exist until right before it goes live, because I can't get the hang of the scheduling yet. If I could get the hang of the scheduling it, I would schedule it. As soon as this one ended, I would schedule the next one for next week, so it would be there for the entire week. But yeah. Hello, Lucy. Hi, Nerdy. Thank you very much for the two of you turning up. Who you calling a hoe? I didn't call anyone a hoe. I was just saying, hi, ho. So yeah, Richard, everybody knows Richard by now. This is our 6th, 7th episode. I know we haven't got past 3, but tonight we're on 3A. Richard has a story tonight of the David and Goliath, but not from the Bible, if I believe that would be correct, Richard, yes?
That's the idea. Peace and respect to you all. Welcome, Nerdy Rodent and Lucy Luxor. Thanks for showing up. We appreciate you very, very much.
Lucy
Truly.
will jump out in 2 minutes. She just comes in, says hello, and then leaves. She thinks we're mad.
Well, I think it sounds pretty crazy too, all of it. And I mean, until I saw it, until it was shown to me, I would have never thought of this or believed it either. So I dig that. It seems pretty crazy to me. And I'm not in denial
just you,
of
man.
that
She
at all.
thinks I'm fucking crazy as well. She pops into all the streams and just says hello and leaves.
Well, perhaps we're all a little bit crazy. That's okay.
So the story you're coming from tonight, where is it? Where is the origins of it? Where does it come from? Hello, Bill.
Well, I wrote a little bit of notes. So aside from the Bible, I'm going to speak a little bit tonight and take questions on. So if anyone has questions, please present them. Greek mythology, also Hinduism. Let's see what else we got here. Greek mythology, Hinduism, and the Bible. I think that's a pretty good start.
Yeah, don't blow your load all in one episode. We're going to have a 3B if we named it 3A, so save some for next week.
I mean, there's nothing about my past that would make me think that this story would exist other than in the Bible. And in fact, I haven't seen any scholarship on that. And it's only the view that I've adopted that makes it in other religions.
So the question I'm going to ask...
I looked in other religions... Go ahead.
Sorry, the question I'm going to ask now, the David and Goliath story is the story that you base most of what you have on, and that comes from the Bible. Now, are you going to look at Greek mythology and other ones and tell a very similar story to David and Goliath that could be also interpreted this way? Or are you going to tell a story of your perception, but in a different story?
I'll give you an example. It's always talking about the planets. Now, it talks about the planets using different character names, and that's fine. Names of different gods, that's fine. But it's obviously talking about the planets. It's the exact same storyline, just in like a different language and a different idea set for a different people.
Right. I get where you're coming from. And if I come across what I'm thinking of, then I'll mention it at the time. I'll interrupt.
Oh, sure. Sure, of course. Well, I hope you do. I mean, that's one of the reasons I depend on you. I mean, I think all of us are biased. So it's the same reason, one of the same reasons I do it with Tog, or was doing a show with Tog, was because he's going to think of things that I don't think of,
Exactly.
Because I'm set in my ways just like anybody.
Yeah. We're all ignorant people. So, sorry.
Okay, so... That's not interrupting. Okay, so I would give an example that I think is super easy to understand, that it's talking about the planets, because it's literally talking about the planets.
Yeah, because we do actually take our names from Greek mythology and things like that there, so...
Right.
Are you using that analogy? Or, no, sorry. Go on ahead. No, go on ahead.
No, you finish. No,
I was just saying, are you actually saying that they used the story and they used the words Mercury and stuff because that's what we name the planets, or are they actually talking about the planets in the sky in the story?
I mean, they're actually talking about the planets in the sky.
Right, go on ahead. I'm sure it'll explain itself to me. I'm saying it wrong, but it'll explain itself to me when you tell the story.
Yeah, of course they have different names for the same objects. It's a different language.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as long as I can verify they're talking about the same objects I'm talking about. And I went looking for these, expecting them to be there, right? Yeah. Not having any prior knowledge. I mean, I was not raised Hindu. You know?
Yes,
I never studied Hinduism at all.
Sorry, go on ahead. Tell your story. It'll explain itself as it goes along.
I think so. Okay, so I think it's really easy in Hinduism because they translated the words into the language that I use, but they were definitely talking about the same exact objects that I'm talking about. I'll give you a for instance. In Hinduism, the planet Jupiter is considered to be a god, and the name of that god is, I'm going to say this poorly, because I'm not Hindu. Brihaspati. Brihaspati. And Brihaspati means, like, directly means Jupiter. Okay, like the planet.
Yep.
And Brihaspati is considered the guru or the teacher, and actually teaches gods. Okay, so you could say like the prime guru, the prime teacher. And let's see, the Brihaspati was wed, and his wife cheated on him. And his wife got pregnant by somebody else. And the result of that pregnancy was Buddha. But Buddha in this case is not spelled with 2 D's, but it's spelled with 1. Budha, okay. Which is different from how most people think of the word Buddha. But it still means wisdom or giver of wisdom. Buddha still means that. Okay?
What does the Om symbol mean? Do you know of perchance what the Om?
It's from what I understand, and this is not perfect. From what I understand, it's the sound that made creation. It's the word. The equivalent in Christianity would be like, "Let there be light."
That's actually quite funny because, as I said to you, I'm doing up the living room and stuff, and the girlfriend has ordered a 5-piece. Do you know them pictures that you get in like 5 pieces, and they get bigger as they get to the middle and then smaller back out, and it's a giant Om symbol.
It's actually pretty cool.
It looks pretty damn cool, but it's quite coincidental. You know, that's why I asked. But sorry, I tangent. Go on ahead. Lucy will shout at me
I
if
like
I
tangents.
don't. Lucy will shout at me if I don't let you finish your story. You're so aggressive,
okay,
Mad Pig.
So you have Brihaspati and Buddha is his illegitimate son, so it's not really his son, and they get into war, and the Hindu translation of these words literally mean Jupiter and Mercury. You can check me on that. It's everywhere. All you have to do, if anyone wants to see the full story that I'm not going to cover, I'm just going to talk a bit about the story. If you want to read the full story in Hindu, just look up the most violent epic of Hinduism, and you're going to find Jupiter fighting with Mercury. That's what you're going to find.
What's it called? The most violent?
The most violent epic. EPIC.
It's just giving me games. You need to be a wee bit more specific.
Well, I meant the actual religion, not games about the religion.
No, but if you just do a Google search for the most violent... Oh no, damn auto check. Change that to violet. It's still giving me fucking stupid things. Is it Greek mythology? Yes?
No, Hinduism.
Hindu, sorry.
The most violent epic in Hinduism is the epic of Jupiter and Mercury, Brihaspati and Buddha.
Okay, we'll find it later. Go on ahead.
Okay, maybe I'll find that something that works really well, and it's not talking about modern stuff but the original story, because you have to go back to the original story. The stuff that they talk about today is all about personal experience, and it gets very emotional and personal, but it's not about the original story so much. But if you watch one of the epics, which I find this really, really interesting. You know how American film, they'll make like a 2-hour movie or something, and maybe they'll make a series. In Hinduism, religion is like such a big deal that I watched the epic of Ramayana, and also I watched the epic of Hanuman, and collectively that was about 100 hours of movies.
That's a lot, like.
Yeah, it's a lot, but they're really thorough. They do the whole story.
Yeah, well, a lot of people do that as well. Like, if you look at, I watch Japanese anime, and they really do drag it out as well, you know, and they give it an awful lot of detail. I use drag it out in a non-derogatory way, but yeah, as you say, man, sometimes in the BBC and things like that, the BBC's a fucking joke, but I don't pay a TV license anymore. I don't watch TV at all, but yeah, I get.
It's so weird to an American to hear you have to pay to have a subscription to like the only broadcasting system around there. That sounds really weird to me.
Well, there's the BBC that does BBC One and BBC Two, and then what we have in Northern Ireland is UTV, which is Ulster TV, I'm pretty sure, and in England, Scotland and Wales they have ITV, which is on our third channel, and then you have Channel 4 on Channel 4, and if you're close enough to the border you would get channel RTE 1 and RTE 2, and that would be your 5 and 6. And that used to be your standard channels with analog. That's all you would get. And you had to pay your TV license, which was about £120 a year, for BBC One and BBC Two. That was it. That's all you paid your TV license for.
I actually heard a court case about that where a guy didn't have to pay his TV bill anymore but got TV anyway.
Yeah, well, it depends what way you work it, because I had to pay my TV license, and then when I stopped paying my TV license, they send a guy out to your house to knock on your door and check that you're not still using the TV. And I had left all my TV equipment still there, but I had turned it round, unplugged everything and turned it round. So when he knocked the door, most people run and hide. I fucking invited him in. I was like, come on in. There you are. Look, hold on till I pause my YouTube, and paused the YouTube app on my phone. And then, you know, he was like, right, well, I can clearly see. So yeah, and wiped me off the list, so they'll never come back again. Even if I started watching TV, they'll never come back again.
That's so funny. Why don't they just cut your wires? Or it's an antenna?
It's digital, so it's sent out over everywhere.
Okay.
And you just put an aerial on the roof or a satellite dish up, and you just steal it out of the air.
See, in the United States, they would have like put some kind of a digital interruption in it, and then you have to put a filter in your line to get rid of the disruption.
But you see, there's ways.
That's what they did here.
There's ways and means around everything. There's a thing now over here which is completely illegal, which a lot of people do. I don't do myself because I don't watch TV, but it's known as IPTV. And you pay a guy a subscription, maybe £20 for the entire year. And over the internet, he sends you out all the Sky channels, all for free. Everything. You just have to buy the box. He sets it up, and you pay him £20 a year. And he just sends it out to you.
Until his customers get too big and he's sucking too much electricity, and they'll catch him.
Well, it moves around and things like that there, but yeah, I can't be arsed with it. It's basically Sky TV. It's set up the same, it works the same, it looks the same channel numbers, everything the exact same. But you get everything. Right. But to pay for Sky over here a month, which would give you full access to all the TV channels, all the sports, the Formula 1, the football, all that stuff that everybody wanted, you're talking upwards of £70 to £80 probably a month now. Right. Which is insane amount of money.
People that pay that over here, they do. Or at least they used to. It sounds like what you're going through is about 15 years behind where we are, you know, for the same time, for the same technology frame and the same problems and the same getting around it.
Yeah, well, a lot of people just use now the internet and stream. And Netflix is obviously getting there, but this is not about what we watch and how we watch. Thank goodness for the internet. So back to the Hindus.
Okay, yeah, back to the Hindu thing, yeah. Okay, so Mercury and Jupiter, or Buddha Brihaspati, I say that so poorly. It's such a weird sounding word. They get into a fight eventually. Okay, and that's the end of the epic. And the way that they look at things, Brihaspati or Jupiter wins. Now, he wins with fire, and he's the son of the original god of fire. So, like, the primary fire god, which is the sun, he is the son of the same way that Jonathan is the son of Saul. And he fights with Mercury, and Mercury is destroyed, and he uses fire to do this. So, although I think the names are different and who's declared the winner, but the results are all the same. The result would be that a person of that religion from this earth would see that happen and go, okay, this is one of the epics. This is one of the big deals.
Yeah. Like something like that was going on, you would definitely notice it.
Yeah. Like you'd have to be blind and deaf. And no one signed to you or wrote to you or anything. No braille, nothing. Yeah, you'd have to be in a coma or dead, basically, to not hear about something like that. Okay, so since we're doing like just snippets, just to make with this singular point,
yes.
I want to point out that not only is this story from the Bible in Hinduism, but every story that I can find in the Bible is also in Hinduism under the view that I've adopted. And if how many do we have in the comment section? Because I still don't have.
7.
I have another screen up.
We have 7.
If anyone wants to comment on that or ask a question about that or declare that I'm absolutely insane or they're a Christian and they want to call me a heretic, that's cool. And I'd entertain something like that since we're kind of piecing things out and we're doing a lot of topics right now.
It's a good point.
If there's anyone.
I should tweet this out while you're doing that because there's a few Christians follow me that said they would come on, so it would be good to do that. So questions from the chat. If anyone wants to tag me, Bill says that Agni is the Hindu fire god.
Yes, that's right. But Agni is of low accord. He's not the original. But he's certainly the most popular one spoken of most often is Agni. But Agni is another story. I'm not saying Agni doesn't exist. Definitely, he's right. Agni
so you
does
say that
exist.
Agni is the Hinduism god of fire, but that came later on.
No, there's lots of different levels in Hinduism, and there's lots of different jobs that are performed. I'm just saying Agni's job is different than what I'm talking about right now.
Cool.
I mean, Agni is, from what that's off topic. Okay, I'm going to go off topic for just a minute, but this is off topic. Agni rides
That's fine.
a
My
goat.
dog. I'm going to let the dog out, so the whole, it's all yours, man. 2 minutes, all yours.
Okay. Okay, so Agni rides a goat. That means lowliness. And Agni carries a staff that has flame above and flame below. And in a lot of representations, Agni has 3 heads, two male, 1 female. And Agni has a swollen, misshapen stomach, a belly. And Agni has 3 hats, and there's flame coming out of the top of the 3 hats. I believe, like the planet Kachina, like the quaking of the earth, spitting hail and fire mingled with blood, all of these expressions, it's talking about the Agni represents a major sized super volcano. I think that's what Agni is, but that's a separate job, and it's something that's on this earth, unlike something off this earth. So I think it's a slightly different topic. Although I could talk about that to the person, I don't remember the name, sorry. I don't mean to be disrespectful, I'm just bad with names. Whoever mentioned that, if you want to talk about in depth, we can do that at your leisure, whenever you like.
It was Bill.
Bill Ashby?
Yes.
Oh, hi, Bill Ashby. If you want to talk about that in depth, Bill, I'm more than open to that.
Hello, remember Sammy Jenkins. Thank you for turning up as well. So, no other questions on that. So, Richard, if you want to feel free, you can go on to the next topic. Next
story. Religion. Okay. All right, so let's see. Let's do a real brief overview of the same story in Greek religion. All right, so in Greek religion, and most would call it mythology. I'm just more respectful because I believe it's valid, even though it's kind of retired.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah. In Greek religion, there's a giant who's a blacksmith, and he's held captive by Zeus. But if you get enough of the storyline together, he's the fifth guy away from Zeus. So he's at a pretty good distance from Zeus, but he's still chained to Zeus. And I believe these invisible chains of Zeus we would call gravity. In a realistic view, it's gravity is what it is. And the name of the blacksmith giant who has a singular eye, he's a cyclops. His name is Anges, and Anges means literally brightness. Like angels means a being of brightness, Anges means brightness itself. Okay.
Yeah.
Now Anges, being some distance away, is a good place for Zeus to hide something that he doesn't want most people to see, including his wife Hera. So he hides a beautiful woman that he's got a crush on, and her name is Io. And yes, it's exactly the same word as the moon Io, and I think actually the name of the moon Io is properly named. And I know that sounds really weird, like why would Galileo name it correctly to a religion? But I think he was actually right. So I'm going to right now accuse Galileo Galilei of prayer. Whether it was purposeful or accidental, I don't know. But it seems that he must have prayed about that one way or the other to get the name right. So out by the great blacksmith,
one person at least disagrees with you with that because we lost a viewer. So one person disagrees with you.
Maybe they just had to go pee.
Maybe.
I mean, people can disagree. I expect people to disagree. It's fine. Okay, so but he's a blacksmith. He's got this great iron hammer in his right hand. He's got this beautiful woman that he's hiding. I mean, he has all the moons. In the story is all the moons over Jupiter. And his name means brightness. Okay. So you got Zeus, and very quick and fast traveling around Zeus in like lots of different stories is the messenger Hermes.
Yes, I know.
So you got little tiny fast Hermes with the wings on his boots or wings on his hat, depending on which religion you're looking at. And he's just like zipping around Zeus all the time. So I'm saying that's the planet Mercury, and in a different religion he's just called Mercury. So Hermes is also chained.
In this exact same story, because
what's that?
Is it the exact same story in a different religion where he's literally called Mercury, or is it just you seeing a difference? As I say, man, if all the stories are different. Now I can see where you're coming from your point of view, right? But this is what I'm saying. This is why I asked you at the very start. If all the stories are slightly different, as in not all these stories are David and Goliath, they're all different stories.
Sure.
Yeah, and some of them are directly saying Mercury and Venus and things like that, because that is just by coincidence where we get the names from.
I don't know how much it's coincidence, but yeah, it works like that.
It works like that we have Mars and Mercury and Venus because that is what the Greek mythology or whatever it was named it. Yes?
Right.
So whenever they use them words and names in these stories, you say they're literally talking about the planets. They're talking about these characters that the planets were named after. So what I'm saying is, if you make that association with the characters and then the characters between different religions, then you can just pick and choose, so to speak.
No, I don't get to pick and choose. It's already set in stone what name of what god goes with what planet. I do not get to change that.
Yes, I get what you're saying. But there's that many different stories. Well, that's the point I'm trying to make. If there's 50 stories that mention Zeus and Mercury, Venus and Mercury, that say for Toxic there's 50 of them.
Not Venus. You had it right the first time.
Right, well, yeah. Say for Toxic there's 50 of them stories. You could just look for the one that suits you. Do you see where I'm going with this? This is the point I'm just trying to make.
But they all have the same series and they all have the same result, even if they're using different names. And in a lot of cases, they're using the actual name. which means I'm saying that the planets weren't even named by accident.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, I understand that. Is this in your paper, which I still haven't read? I am honest, I haven't read it.
Only one religion is covered in that paper.
Right. Well, then maybe we should sit down, and the best thing to do would be put them, so to speak, in a mathematical type of way where you have them in correlations between each other. You know, you have one and you write it down and you go, right, this is the characters in Greek mythology, and you list them for talk's sake. Character who equals Mercury obviously equals Mercury, or bip, 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 bip. Then you put 3 or 4 stories down under that column. Then you go to the next column and you go, right, Hindu, this character equals this planet, this character equals this planet, and you give 3 stories that would be, you get where I'm going with this, and you make a correlation visually there in front of them.
Yeah. There's a method for that correlation thing. What's that called? I can't remember the name of the method.
Neither can I.
It's named after some dude. But anyway. Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to pick the name of the planets. I didn't get to pick the story of the gods that made the names of the planets, which the stories came first.
But what the point I'm trying to make is, for talk's sake, there's 50 stories, and you've got 2 that match your story, then it only has,
it's not 2, it's all of them.
All of them match. Okay.
I'm doing 3 or 4 today.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'm just here to question you, man. That's my job.
No.
I'm here to poke and ask questions, and I'm taking hints from the crowd.
Part of the reason, right on. It's part of the reason that I'm so convinced this is true, because everywhere it is there. It's there everywhere. People separated by time, people separated by geography. They're considered to be different religions. They're considered to be so vastly different that no part of religion A shows up in religion B. You know, I mean, I don't know of anyone aside from this crazy idea I have who'd say, "Oh yeah, Hinduism, Christianity, same thing." Yeah, I don't know anyone that would say that. And I understand that it's weird, it's unusual what I'm saying. I get that, but if the story exists and the story is the same everywhere with different character names, but the storyline is exactly the same in unrelated land masses and peoples, I mean, don't you think that's a little bit more than just what I should call coincidence? I mean, that's got to be more than coincidental.
Yeah, well, I can get you that. But it's for me to grasp the fact that every single story that mentions these people can be made to fit the narrative that is your story, or they just happen to fit. You know, I don't think that any episode. I'm being accused of
bias that the person who's talking to me has, more often than not. I mean, I'm just looking at this really, really blankly and easily, without emotion and just using pure logic, and I get accused of being constantly illogical and emotionally involved in it, and the person having the conversation with me is usually the one who's emotional about it, not me. I mean, if I look at this strictly academically, this is plausible throughout all of these religions. And very few and only new religions or satanic religions is it not in. It's just everywhere. I mean, really.
Sorry, I was just letting the dog back in. Yeah, see, the problem I'm having is it's the internet, man. I think this conversation, as best as we will try and best or do, it will just keep going on and on and on, because I'd need to be sitting beside you with the 3 books in front of me and go, right, explain that.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
So this is why I'm asking, this is why I'm trying to push and see what the crack is. But it's not pareidolia. Is it pareidolia? No, it's not picking and choosing. I'm trying not to be derogative, but for what it's coming across from the crowd's interpretation, from my interpretation, I'm at a lack. You know, this is just going to go on. We're going to have 50 episodes in this.
I mean, there's a definition for pareidolia within apophenia, within confirmation bias. There's definitions for these things. And a person can say that about me, that's fine. But if they actually look into the definition and actually heard what I said as to what my experience has been, they'd go, oh, wait a minute, I'm the person suffering from lack of recognition because of my biases. That's what they would say of themselves. They don't want to recognize this because they prefer the straw man religion that they've come to accept and they've come to ignore. Because it's easy to get rid of a straw man of the Bible. Super easy.
Personally,
I did it for 30 years.
I think it would be fucking cool if God turned out to be an alien. I really would. I think it would be, it would be pretty damn cool. Number one, because me and you could sit and have a beer and laugh at all the people who got it wrong. And we'd be like, yeah, we had a show.
They're going to be in heaven laugh. They're going to be having a beer with us. It'll be fine.
We had a show about this every Thursday. Did you not know? We were fucking telling the truth here, like. Plus, aliens, technology, and all that shit would be cool. I wouldn't bow down and worship them, but I still think it would be cool. But I'm open to the idea, is what I mean. I don't think that I get emotional about it. I did get emotional in the Gravity episode because you went against Gravity, man.
The what episode? Because I went
the one that
against
we
Gravity?
talked an awful lot about gravity and the planets, and then the.
I'm not against gravity. I mean, I evidentially see gravity is there. I just think it's a bad label.
But what I meant in the paraphrase of against gravity is for what you need to happen, you would have to work against gravity. You would have to, because Mercury's vanished, and Earth you expect to stay in its same position. But if Mercury's gone for a year, Earth won't stay in its same position. So you are working against gravity. So that's why you get my. Yeah,
Mercury would be permanently gone. Yeah. Well, if each gravitational field is dependent on every other gravitational field, then you're right. It can't work. However, if they're independent, it could. And I mean, I'm not an astrophysicist. I really can't answer that question.
I don't think that they're. No, I don't think that they're. Okay, right. We're tangenting again. We're doing that thing that I do. Okay, this is what we fill the time in with. So we've done 2 stories. We've done the Greek and the Hindu, correct?
Yeah, and of course we've done the Bible as well. And I would add a 4th one just off the cuff that I didn't take notes on, but I think most people are familiar with, not most, a lot of people are already familiar with this particular religion. They don't consider it a religion. It's not even called a religion, per se. Astrology. In astrology, it's a standard of, what's that?
I don't like astrology that much. I did read my stars in the newspaper yesterday while I was waiting on my takeaway. But it told me to go and find a new woman.
You did what? It told you?
It basically told me that my relationship is going to fail. I'm having trouble in my relationship at the minute, and keep my eyes open for a new love on the horizon.
Well, maybe it means a new love of someone that sells you shoes.
Pardon?
Maybe it just means like some other woman in your life, not your main woman.
Well, yeah, maybe we could interpret it any way we wanted to fit the narrative, but
I would, because I think they're full of crap. I think the Sunday astrology stuff is just personal interest stuff. It's emotionally based.
Well, if you're interested, man, if you're genuinely interested in that, I have a 14-page actual birth chart that a woman who is very, very big into astrology and does the whole multiple chart things and checks when you were born before she can actually give you a reading and all. It's like 14 fucking pages long. It's buried in my software somewhere. I could dig that out. It's a proper, and she did one for the daughter as well. Buried in there somewhere.
Did you compare? Okay, you got a personalized reading where they took down all your information and it wasn't in the Sunday paper, and you got 14 pages of it. Did you compare that against last Sunday's paper?
No, it's lost somewhere in my computer.
I would.
It's lost somewhere in the computer. No, but it's a.
I mean, it should be more defined, right?
I think it's more of a birth chart than a predictive thing. It's not like what's going to happen next week. It was more, this is who you are going to be, your personality and stuff like that. It was about 2 years ago, man. It was just after the daughter was born, so it's nearly 3 years ago. It's buried somewhere.
Well, I don't personally assign any value. Okay, here's the thing. Here's an overview for you. Am I emotionally controlled by the planets? No. However, Jupiter gets caught on fire, I'm going to have an emotional response to that. I'm going to think the prophecy is true, or I'm going to think the galaxy is falling apart. I'm going to think something.
People don't write astrology about nuclear bombs. If one of them went off in my backyard, and I definitely have an emotional response to that. But people don't.
Well, it wouldn't be big enough for the prophecy, so that's why it's not written about.
Well, yeah, but you get my meaning. I would have an emotional. What you're talking about, if the Jupiter caught fire, that's an emotional response. As you did say, it's not your emotions are affected by it. Your emotions are affected by the environment, what's going on around you, not by the fucking Mercury being in retrograde.
Right. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, that's part of the original story, talking about Jupiter being ignited, is Mercury being in retrograde. Not retrograde like going the other way around the sun, because it's in between us and the sun. It appears it goes to the right, then it goes to the left, then it goes to the right. That's not what retrograde really means. It's what we take retrograde to mean.
Yes, I understand. From our point of view,
because there's no actual such thing as retrograde.
Yes, I know, but it's from our point of view, from the way we're looking at it, the fact that we're moving around. That's why people don't understand, and why there was originally geocentrists, if I'm right in saying that, where they believed that the stars moved around us, but they don't. If you look at any position, you take a square and you cut it up into 12 exact squares. Every little point where you look at, you can get the same shape. You know, it's about your point of view, where you are, what it looks like. It all looks like the exact same from where you are. Like the universe, according to us, is nearly 14 billion years old. The universe could actually be 24 billion years old, but we just can't.
I'm kind of curious about that.
Well, I'm being really summarizing and dumbing it down, but the point I'm trying to make is we couldn't see any further than that because light hasn't got a chance to travel. I'm saying it completely wrong, but you get the point I'm trying to mean.
Right. So what we see as the universe can't be the actual limit of the universe. It's just how long it's taken light to travel this far.
Exactly, man. Thank you very much for articulating the words better.
So we see a sphere of the universe that we assume is the whole universe, and we don't know that.
Well, we see a sphere of the universe, but the universe technically is flat.
It's got to have some height. We couldn't see a sphere.
Yes.
In fact, it couldn't be three-dimensional if it doesn't have some height.
I'm talking in terms of science here, where it's a curve. You have to think about, could the universe be a curve where if you keep going in one direction, do you come back on yourself? Is it a circle? And from what we've seen, it's flat.
I'll tell you what, I cannot speak intelligently to this topic. I don't know.
Well, the idea of it being flat is it means if you keep going in one direction, you just keep going. You don't come back on yourself.
Why is that? Never mind. I'm not going to understand it. I'm not that smart.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
This is why we watch What the Math. The website I was talking about earlier. Very good, man. Very good.
That sounds really cool and educational, but I think I'm going to have to devote several hours a week and for the rest of my life to maybe catch. Maybe not.
Now, Bill, the new stuff says that the curve it is actually flat. Not that it appears flat, it is actually flat. We have God equals the square root of -1. Sorry, I think it's the first time he's here, and I seen him in a chat the other day. I thought it was a very cool name. He was in Neil's chat the other night. Yes, negative gravity. In the flat universe, the energy is 0. That's how... Because it's all... If you start with 0, it's now 0 because you can get negative gravity.
I can't raise my left eyebrow higher than that. What is that? Never mind.
If two planets are so far away from each other... that the gravity doesn't affect each other. Then they start to get pulled in, and they originally started at 0 effect. Then as they get pulled in, it's a negative gravity. It all adds up to 0. Because you have positive gravity and negative gravity. When particles appear and you get theoretical Hawking radiation, 2 particles appear at the same time. One gets destroyed, one steals a little bit of mass from a black hole. Then you get Hawking radiation, black holes then degrade. Okay. Hi, Be Mindful. I think we've confused Richard enough. Be Mindful's crying. He hasn't got enough attention. Yeah, Lawrence Krauss. He did that very good book. It was very good. But sorry, Richard. Go on ahead there, hi.
It's just, I'm also not going to talk about basketball. Because I don't know anything about basketball either.
Sport in general is shit. But, yeah. Nice mug. So... back to your story.
Thank you.
Have you got
it
one
keeps
more?
My coffee warm.
Have you got one more story, and then we can take a few questions from the chat, and we'll have done our hour.
Okay, so in astrology, not astronomy, in astrology, one of the baseline stories is that the planet of enlightenment, that is the planet that will change people's minds, that will actually make people have realizations, is the planet Jupiter. But only if Jupiter is in Mercury's house. Now, Mercury's house is Bethlehem. It's Virgo. It's the Virgin with the sheaves of wheat, the house of bread. Literally translated would be Bethlehem.
If you were talking about planets, and you were saying Mercury and Jupiter goes to Mercury's house, I would interpret that, as I'm sure a lot of people would, that would mean Jupiter going to Mercury's orbit.
No, it wouldn't mean that at all. Well, the house, okay, there's 12 houses. There's 12 houses, but there's only 8 or 9 planets, depending on who you ask. Okay? So not every house is inhabited by a planet, first of all. But every planet has its own house. And that would be the signs of the 12 signs of the zodiac. So as it happens, historically, Mercury's house is literally the house of bread, or what we call Virgo, but Virgo's a nickname, a shortened way to say it. But literally, house of bread is absolutely translated to mean Bethlehem. Those are the exact same words. Objections.
Do you know, whenever I have only one objection, Bill can back me up on this, right? I had only real 2 rules when I was setting up the channel, right? All the being friends and all that shit aside. I was going to ban literally and indoctrination, because listening to people say literally and indoctrination were 2 words that I hated hearing all the time. And
but when I say literally, I mean literally.
I know you do.
I don't mean figuratively, literally. I mean literally.
I know. Now you just I'm reconsidering having a next Thursday stream with you. Right, go back on to your last.
I deserve to be fired after that. You're right. Okay, so the transliteration of Mercury's house is Bethlehem. If I were to say it in Hebrew and I was an astrologer, and I said it in Hebrew, I would say Bethlehem. That's exactly the same words. Okay. So, sorry, I got the giggling. So, all right. So Jupiter has to be in the zodiac sign. Okay, but Jupiter's in a circle basically around the sun. For it to be in that zodiac sign, it has to be lined up, but like the zodiac sign has to be behind it, with it lined up with the sun. So it has to be in line with. Then Jupiter would be in Mercury's house. That's not Jupiter's house because he has a different house, but he's going in a circle, so he goes through everybody's house.
I can see.
And all planets goes through everybody's houses.
Yeah,
what's that?
Yeah. But a lot of streakers. All the planets are streakers. Just running in and out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
just running constantly. Yeah. Okay, so then Mercury gets into retrograde, but like the retrograde that makes everybody on the planet have a huge, and not just myself, but have an emotional response to something outside of themselves. So it'd be something that everybody could see if you had like normal eyes. Okay, and that would be the quote unquote enlightenment. And so when you hear hippies talking about the age of enlightenment, the age of Aquarius,
they've changed,
and the planet of enlightenment, I believe this is exactly what they're saying. I just don't think it's figurative at all. Go ahead.
Is this where the woke hang out?
The what?
The woke. Do you know when you're all woke? No, that's
woke. WKE.
Yeah,
okay.
the new thing, like the woke. I'm explaining it wrong. But when people see what's going on, they're woke. They're
enlightened or awoken.
Yeah, the
awake.
Modern way, the cool way, and the hip way that the kids are saying it now is woke.
Yeah. I think like none of us are woke.
No.
And I think that's a very powerful statement and assumptive.
In a very derogatory term, because I laugh at people who are woke because they watch Gaia. Have you ever watched the Gaia Network? Don't watch the Gaia Network.
Is that like based on Gaia or Gaia? Talking about the planet as the mother?
Yeah, GAIA. It's the Gaia Network.
So it's talking about the Earth as your mom.
Oh, and lots of other stuff, man. There's they released one of their episodes with Michael Tellinger the other day. He wants to get rid of money and bring back a loving system where everybody looks after each other and love the planet. And he also believes in stitching. You know, stitching with yeah, your face said it all. The Anunnaki have come down. He's found Anki's house.
Yeah.
He if you want to, man, he will charge you and take you to Anki's house. He will show you where Anki is.
Hey, everybody, go watch Digital Hammurabi on Sitchin.
Yeah.
Please.
He will
Go
also
watch that.
he will take you to a place called Adam's Calendar, which is the edge of a cliff where all these stones are set up in an alignment with the suns. A lot of what you're saying here, man, yeah, aligned with the suns and stuff. And this is
No,
the
not
point.
what I'm saying.
This is the area where the aliens came down and actually converted us from what we were into what we are now, and using genetic manipulation.
Sure.
The pyramids are power stations.
I only have-
people. The pyramids
Matt,
are power
I
stations.
got one question for those folks. Why did they move our radius and ulna genetic material different from the ape? Why'd they put it somewhere else in the genome? Why'd they do that?
What do you mean?
I'd like to know.
Sorry, what did you explain that a wee bit more to me? You maybe said it too quick. Could you say that again?
Well, you have two bones in your lower arm, and in English they're called the radius and ulna. And that there's genetic material that makes those bones grow.
Yes.
And it's in a different place in our genetic code than it is in a chimpanzee, an ape, several others. All the great apes have it in one spot. We have it somewhere else. I'm just curious why these guys moved it.
Well, that could also be down to evolution.
Evolutionists are going to argue with you on that.
Well, it you know, genomes get moved back and forth. They mutate. They redo. I
Yeah,
think now there is one that I have looked before.
That costs energy.
Okay. There was one that I was looking before, and in all great apes but us, it is 2 genomes, but in us it is 1, and it has been proven that them 2 became 1 in us. And I can't find the fucking name of it.
See Dragnaut Silvus. He'll explain it to you.
Good, yeah. I try to keep away from the famous people because I'm only too small and shit, and yeah.
Dragnaut's not proud of himself. He's cool. He'll take time for you.
Oh, but Dragnaut's the first person. The first time that I mentioned in a Discord chat that I wanted to set up a conversation and a channel and stuff like that. There, he and I am gonna fuck me. I'm gonna use the word. He literally grabbed me and moved me from one voice chat into another and dumped me. And it was supposed to be only me, him, and someone else, and about 6 or 7 other people come in, and I had to talk to them all. And he just dumped me in.
His bicep and his upper arm's about the size of my head, but he's really a sweet guy.
He is very good, and I've talked to him once or twice. And the first time I was on a stream and someone mentioned, I think it was Ronan, mentioned that I had chat, and he was like, "Oh, MathBig does content. I'll check that out." I never did. So, who gives a fuck, man? I'm tiny. I'm little itsy bitsy. Right. Have we any other questions from the chat where everybody calls Richard out for being a liar?
You know what's funny?
What?
In all of these stories, it says if you tell the truth about him, you'll be called a liar.
So do Christians.
No, I said in all of these stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like a get out of free card, if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, it's like saying, "Oh, I'm a Christian. I'm persecuted." I'm not saying that. I'm saying the truth. While we're on the planet, the prophecies always say that while we're on the planet and before we know the whole truth, everything that the religions are talking about will be considered a lie.
Yeah, okay. I made my point.
Yep. That is, I'm agreeing with you.
Right.
Oh, and I expect it.
Good.
It means
good.
also means I expect it.
You know, at the end of the day, man, somebody, maybe this is definitely not safe for kids, but I can't remember. One of my friends said to me one time, it was a joke back in high school. It's like, if you're ever going to punish somebody, what would you do? You know, if you were going to make their life, you know, punish somebody. It's like, I'd stick the cold end of a hot poker up their ass, so every time they try to pull it out, they'd burn their hand. And I thought it was fucking hilarious. It's a joke, obviously, like, but I thought it was hilarious. No.
Okay, I'm wondering how the guy put it there with the hot end sticking out. Did he have gloves or something?
Probably a glove.
Why can't the other person have a cooking mitt so they can pull it out? Why do they have to burn their hand? Are they retarded?
You're thinking too much into the joke.
Oh. You know. You're not supposed to analyze jokes?
Saying that,
Sorry.
talking about hot pokers and looking at you and thinking of the beard, I was using a grinder today and had to make sure that my beard didn't catch fire. Them sparks were flying. Do you have that problem?
I've burned through so many jackets. I've never caught the beard on fire.
No.
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 No. Lots of sparks.
Oh, and it's dry. I don't moisturize it. It's
kindling. It's ready to go.
It's pretty much kindling. I'll show you. This is my beard comb.
Oh yeah, you have
Let's
to
see
have
if
a
I
beard
can.
comb.
This is my mouse.
You
Let's
see,
see
that's all
how
your
far can I
hairspray. That's all the
hold off.
hairspray you're using.
It's thick, man. I mean, I can hold up a good quarter pound in that crazy thing.
You can keep pigeons in it.
Yeah, and this comb doesn't have a whole bunch of teeth. I mean, that's it.
No, a beard comb must have big teeth. Yeah, like that. Mine's the same. My woman got me a nice wooden one.
Yeah, this if I ever need to knit like a small sweater or maybe, I don't know, a scarf. Yeah, I've already got it right here. No
you could
problem.
totally do the Viking thing. Do you know the Viking braid? I have been banned by my girlfriend. I am not allowed to do the Viking braid because she thinks it looks as stupid as what a man bun looks to me. Do you know what a man bun
Well, you have
is?
a woman who has something to say to you. I don't have that. So I don't even care what people think of my beard or what I do with it. I'm trying to get it cornrowed right now. I'm setting it up to be cornrowed, but my friend who's going to cornrow it for me, or says she will, is practicing on her boyfriend until she gets back in practice and gets nice clean cornrows. Then you're going to see me in cornrows.
That would look fucking class, man. That would.
I love the idea, and besides, it gets it out of the way. It makes it neat. I mean, I'm not cutting it for religious reasons.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I
dye
need
it
it in
for
my
religious
way.
reasons.
I don't
though.
need it in
You
the
do
way.
dye it for
What?
religious reasons.
Yes, that too. Yeah.
You do dye it for religious reasons. But in saying that, man,
that's
I
Old
may have a
Testament
woman.
stuff.
I may have a woman that says about the beard, but I respect her for that. But generally, I walk about looking like a tramp. I walk about in jeans with fucking cable ties on them, and I was my pen ran out the other day, and I had no. When you try and rub on the pen to make it go again.
Wait. What's a pen? What's that word you're using right?
Pen.
What?
A pen. A biro.
P-E-N?
P-E-N. Like a biro pen.
Okay. Biro's not a word over here either. I don't know what that meant.
Do you know what a pencil is?
A pencil, sure.
Yeah, well, do you know that thing that uses ink instead of the pencil?
Yeah, P-E-N, not P-I-N. Yeah.
No, pen.
Yeah,
yeah,
for writing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Well, the pen ran out. You know where they run out and you have to scribble it to make it work?
Well, then it didn't run out.
Yeah, well, it gets the dry spot. I used my jeans and she went fucking apeshit. She was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm getting the pen to work." And she was like, "Why are you using your jeans?" And I was like, "I don't give a fuck. Like, there's a cable tie on." No, there's a cable tie on them. If there's a cable tie on my jeans, that means I wear them to work and I don't need to care about them.
Right. Oh, I ruin a full set of clothing like every month. Like just it's shredded, it's torn, it's
destroyed,
it's burnt through and everything. Destroyed, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and someone actually, I was on a stream, they made fun of me and they said, "Oh, that guy must be a crack addict or whatever." Look, I've got glue and oil stains and stuff on my hands because I work for a living.
Yeah.
And this part right here, that's a tattoo of the Book of Revelation, is what that is.
Yeah.
And that can't come off. Okay, that's stuck there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my hands are always stained and my clothes are always torn up. Because I work.
Yeah.
Like you, I got a real hard job. I'm not sitting behind a desk at an office somewhere.
That's another reason why I like the new dark wood doors. My white doors, above and below the handles, are all black marks. Because when I come home, I have to walk into the house before I wash my hands. So you open the door handle and then you push the door closed. So on the inside of the living room, just at the exact height of where my hand is, every fucking day I put black marks on it. And you just dark wood doors, you'll never see the stains.
There you go. There you go. I'm all about the stainless steel liner around the handle where you just wipe it off later.
Oh yeah, yeah. My mum.
It's gonna happen.
In my mum's house, she even built a utility room with a back bathroom and a sink and all. And before you even get into the kitchen or the rest of the house, there's now an area to get undressed, get done. Even when we were younger, my mother told Bill this story whenever we were. I'm nearly sure she did tell him this story. We used to come home from the fields as kids, and in the hot summer days, we were that muddy. Like there was one time we actually got stuck in a shuck. My brother, to his waist, was actually sinking into the shuck, and We come home head to toe in mud, and she hosed us down at the back door before we were allowed into the house to get a shower.
So they were harvesting corn?
No, where did you get that from? How fast was I talking? Where did I lose you?
You said something about a shuck.
A shuck, like a muck, a bog.
Yeah, that means harvesting corn.
A bog.
Oh, a bog.
Yes, where if you stand
that's
in it,
also called a shuck.
Now I have to explain Irish slang. Don't ask me to. I have no idea. It was like a shuck. It was, yeah. That's just what we fucking call it, man.
Sure, absolutely. Because a shilling to the quid is a peso to the silver. What's that silver thing called?
Here, we could get really, really slangy, and a fiver's a flim, a tenner's a bob, and
No, not actual slang.
Yeah. A fiver's a flim, a
flim,
a 50 bob note, a fiver's a flim, a 20's a square. Yeah. A 20. Yeah. It all gets.
Yeah.
Yep. No idea, man. No idea. There you go. Shuck equals mud bog.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, be mindful. Well, this was a random stream tonight, went off quite well.
I had a good time.
Richard, if you're up for it, we could maybe come back on again in half an hour and try out some Universe Sandbox 2 if you wanted to get in on that.
Oh, I'd love to start getting that straightened out. Yeah, that'd be great.
Right, well, it's 5 to 12, and if you're up for it, maybe about half 12 or so, I'll send you a message. Look out in Discord if anyone's... Oh, look out, we've got a big thing from John. Math Pig, I found someone who interrupted me more than you do. Unirock. Good guy, but he kept interrupting me. Unirock's a plonker. Steve was getting frustrated with it. Good times. Love human behaviour. Unirock I don't like at all, but Unirock 2, is it not? Like Math Pig 2. He's not the real Unirock. I do that sometimes just to have it on video. Math Pig 2 is actually me. Is Math Pig. Most people know this, but it freaks some people out sometimes. They talk about trolls and people making fake accounts and stuff like that, and then I'll instantly jump out and jump back in under Math Pig 2 and go, I am the real Math Pig. Math Pig is not the real Math Pig. And it freaked me mindful out the first time. He had no idea what was going on. He was like, who the fuck's this guy? What's going on?
I gotta admit, you had me the first time too.
There you go. See?
First time I saw you do that, I was really convinced that someone was like, I don't know, trolling you or something.
Yeah, I know. I was having this conversation before I started letting everybody know with Remember Sammy Jenkins, and I was like, we could totally make him a Christian and have me troll myself. It could be hilarious. But no, it takes too much effort. Right, okay, well, we've got 8 people still watching. Thank you very much, everybody, for jumping in. We ain't got no more real questions. And peace and respect to every one of you. Thank you all very much for coming. It shocks me why you want to listen to us ramble on and talk an awful lot of waffle. Ask Richard.
Well, you got that really cool accent, and I say crazy stuff. It's a great combination.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Right. Well, John's at a desk and he's complaining he doesn't work hard enough. But right. Thank you everybody for turning up, and yeah, that's it. Peace and respect. Bye bye.